I'm Dan Galucha, and welcome to another edition of Shoot and Plank. Today we're going to have something just a little bit different. You know, a while back I did a video on recycling targets, how you can make a backup type target to use and then to recycle it, because you make it all out of cardboard, out of your shipping boxes or whatever, and this particular one happens to be out of a home ec gun cabinet cardboard was around it. And you can see what happens, especially if you're firing 22s at it. I get a lot of center shots. I did this as a repair job. This can now be taken apart, put some more in here, and recycle it. But how about a junkyard target, as I call them? Now this, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to use in the house during the winter to shoot BBs and pellets at, and I've been making these up, and it is strictly junk. I mean, that's all it is. It's stuff that I picked up along the road, wherever I can find it. Like this is a Pink Panther home insulation type stuff. I cut some of that up, and here's one that I've got finished right now. It's approximately 10 inches thick, and I've got a board in the back and some of that insulation, and the rest is all some of that cardboard I was talking about. And I've got a target already pasted on here, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I'm making another one right here, and you can see this one's really a junkyard one. Even done a red-green special. Put some duct tape down here to hold these two together, and also around here, because this is actually split. It's some that I found. As I said, all this stuff is junk that I've just picked up or have some scrap around or whatever, even the nuts and bolts and whatever I can find, I put it together. Now, what am I going to do with this piece? Well, believe it or not, I'm going to stick it inside my Gamo pellet trap that I have, and this should soften it, soften the sound a little bit, and also grab the pellets a little bit more, and I might even try to figure out a way that I can use it for BBs. But don't use one of them for BBs until you can really figure out how to do it, because they might come flying right back at you. Now, talking about some other junk, how about used paper plates? Yeah, you can probably see that one's been used, but you can still make a target out of it. And this is something you can get any of your kids or grandkids or whatever that are coloring book age. Draw a circle, like with a Sharpie, around a bottle, the size that you want on it, and then have them color it in. You know, I'm doing it myself because my dog isn't very good at it. So I just color it in, and away it goes, and you wonder, okay, how come he put it on this side and not that side? Well, it's not because this is used over here, because some of these aren't really all that bad. The reason being is that you notice this little edge right here. Well, you can put it right up here, and you can tape it down, or you can staple it in, whichever that you know, it's just much better because you've got this little edge to actually hold it. Another thing is, you're going to get a sound out of this. And I haven't tried them yet as far as for BBs. I will someday here, and what I'm kind of thinking is by doing it that way, if the BB goes through here, it'll hit this cardboard, and some of them might fall right into here, and then you kind of trap them. So, you know, that could work pretty good. So, what we're going to do, though, today, and I've got a lot more of this junk, like I said, some other junk targets that you can use, and I've talked about these before, is like a toilet paper roll, like this. You can got some of the toilet paper left. This is from a commercial roll. These just get thrown out. They make real good blinking type targets. Then the smaller ones, if you want a smaller target, same thing. Cut them up. You can get these, you know, you'll have like a thick long tube or things, cut them up, make them smaller ones. Here's something that you may or may not think about if you want something really small and just kind of to plink at. I've scotch taped these on here. You know those little pull tabs that you get out of the milk cartons or what have you? Okay, put some tape on there. And I know what you're saying. This guy's got more time on his hands that he knows what to do with. No, not really. My grandfather, he kept just about everything you can think of. And he made stuff out of it. Even right down to the point where they used to have the metal saw edges that were like on your tin foil and that sort of stuff. He even kept those out of the carton. And he made things out of it. He had a little thing that was on the wall that you peel the paper off. Well, you couldn't tear it. My grandmother couldn't tear it off quite right. he took one of those, tacked it across there, and zing, she had herself a little tear spot. So you never know what might work. With me, I'm always looking at, okay, how can I shoot at it, or how can I make a target out of it, or whatever. Well, that's what I'm doing. And like I said, what we're going to do though is we're going to experiment with this, and I'm going to shoot it outside to see how it works. But you know, in a house, probably if you get 10 yards, you're going to be lucky. So I'm going to shoot this at 7 yards, and I'm going to shoot 4 different ones right here. I'm going to shoot this one with the Swarm, which I will not be shooting in the house because that's a 1,300 feet per second pellet rifle, but I am going to shoot it here and see how far it goes through. And then the NXG, the Umarex NXG, I'm going to use that for BB. That I will shoot in the house because it's variable pump. So I might pump that up to like maybe 2, 3 at the very max in a house and shoot that, but not a whole lot. And then pistol wise, now that's different. This is a break barrel. It's a P900. It's a Gamo, just like the Swarm, it's a Gamo. And I'm going to shoot a pellet with it down here. And over here, I think I'm going to use my Umarex, and it's an S&W MP40. And it's the BB style with CO2, and I'm going to use that for the BBs and see how that works as far as the pistol goes. So we got 2 rifles, and then we got 2 pistols, and like I said, we got pellets and BBs, and we're going to fire it at this and see how it works, see how it holds up for in the house or whatever, which I'm sure it's going to. And well, what do you say we load them up? In fact, I'll show you the guns that I'm going to be shooting right here. Target fell on one of them even. This is the Gamo P900 right here. This will be the pellet pistol. This is the Smith & Wesson M&P40, the Umarex BB pistol. Then we've got the Umarex NXG. This is the pump. Then we got the big boy, the Swarm, the Gamo Swarm with the scope. And like I said, this one, I'm not going to shoot that in the house. No way. Maybe if I was down in a basement, I had a big house, then perhaps. But nope, I'm not going to do that. But I will out here just to see how it does with this thing. So what do you say we go over and shoot, and then we'll talk a little bit about it and see how far they penetrate. As you see, we did the shooting, and we got a little bit of adjustment on some sights or something or other, especially on that P900. I don't know what was going on with that, but out of fairness to the Swarm, the scope is not adjusted for that close a range. I had that adjusted for about 25 yards, so you know, that's, yeah, you're just not going to hit at that. So I adjusted, and by adjusting it a little bit, sighting upward or whatever, I was able, as you see, I was able to put it right in the bullseye. But this isn't a competition. If it was, Umarex would have won out hands down, because look at here, NXG, every shot with my open sights. I fired that with open sights, hit right there in the middle. And the same thing here with that S&W MP40. That I fired those quick, as you well know, and you know, there's 15 rounds there, right in the bullseye. So actually, if I was doing something with that, hey, those would work pretty good. But I can't say what's going on with that P900. I'm just going to have to do some more adjusting or something. Anyway, let's see, because what we were actually doing was to see how far through everything came, and it looks like everything except for the P900. Now it went through the second layer. There's the first layer. Here's the second layer, and the second layer, by the time we get to the third layer, a lot of the P900 is starting to slack off. Believe it or not, the BBs are still hanging in there. Now this is a thick board I put on. This is a thicker piece of cardboard, even harder to get off. And at this point, we have now lost all of the P900 pellets. But the BBs over here are still a few of those going through. Not many. The Swarm is definitely still going through. And I have a feeling the Swarm's going to be the last one. Here we go here. We've still got BBs going through. Right here. We've got the BBs, and that's for the NXG. And that was with 4 pumps, by the way. So if I'd go with 2 pumps, no more than 3, probably I'd say 2 maybe in the house, it wouldn't go that far. But by golly, it's still shooting here. But this is for the MP40. That's gone through 4 layers. This is the last layer that it's doing. And now we'll go to the next one. And we're still having holes. This is 4. The 5th layer. And we still got both of them. Both BBs and pellets. Another layer. Another. Here's 8 layers now, and we're still going through with the BB that I shot with the NXG, and still going through with the Gamo. Nine layers. And this is the end of the NXG, the Umarex NXG BBs. Ten layers, and we're still going through with that Gamo. $11 layers. 12. 13. 14, 15, 16, still no sight at the end. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Alright, we're up to 23 layers. 24. And that's it. That Gamo shot through 24 layers of this cardboard. I mean, look how thick that is. It went through all of that, plus this right here that I was doing. I mean, that's a lot of layers. And that was, like I said, that was with this Gamo Swarm. So yeah, I would stop it if I fired it in the house. I've still got about that much more space on the target. Probably about half. It probably went through about half the target, I'd say. Half or maybe a little bit more. But about half, because the whole thing is about 10 inches thick. So it went through about halfway, but like I said, I don't think I'd shoot that in a house. That's just not a house gun. But I would definitely shoot those others because they didn't go through there all that far. The next one in line was the BBs that I shot with the NXG, but again, that's got a pump, so you can vary that. And I would recommend no more than 3 pumps in a house, maybe two really. I mean, and that's going to work. And as I said, I shot all of this at 7 yards too. The reason being is you aren't going to have that much space in a house, and in fact my house is so small that I'm shooting through the living room and into the hallway. And I'm going to get maybe at the max, if I put my back up to the end wall, 10 yards, but I'll probably be shooting more like 7, like I said. So, like I said, don't be afraid of picking up some junk and figuring out ways to shoot it, because you can always recycle it like I'll do. And I'm going to do some more shooting on this, in fact. And so it's just have fun with it. And it's a project that, as I said, you can get the family involved with in the winter time, and then make these up and then shoot in the house, whatever. So until next time, shoot safe and have a great day of plinking.